we're going to create today. And I always thought that was really cool. So I'm reframing the word work in my head. And I'm doing a lot of things in my life to not only maintain my quantum state, I'm also proactively growing it to higher and higher levels. So that I do have that happiness just totally normal. It's the most normal thing in the world to wake up happy, have a great day, go to bed happy, and sleep well. So I'm doing very specific things to grow, maintain, and then keep growing my quantum state. So for example, journals. I journal a lot. I do write a lot of I'm grateful for. And I actually started 2 years ago my quantum state project, and so every day I come up with some kind of a resource, a story, a quote, a picture, an idea that somehow enhances my quantum state. And so I'm over 780 days into it now with writing something every day. So this is actually a journal that's already full. And then for those of you like, well, that's a big journal to carry around, here's your pocket size. Yeah. And then I always read books, always read. I have so many books. When I have the potty book, there's the bedroom book, there's the living room book, then there's my audio CDs that I listen to. Got my special, awesome Jan's techno spiritual CD. So the kind of music you're surrounding yourself with, the kind of books you're reading, the kind of movies you're watching. And Jill, she's our tarot queen. Tarot. Wonderful, wonderful way of communicating with the universe. What's the message that this group needs to go right now? Ooh, the 4 of Spades. Good stuff.
Complete and utter happiness.
Complete and utter happiness. Yay! Awesome! Who wouldn't take that? And then of course, little anchors. And what I'm doing here is I'm showing you the whole variety of the visual, auditory, kinesthetic. Those are all the things that you can do to stimulate the visual input, the auditory input. And then there are the things that are simply great anchors. A beautiful little gift I got from a friend, you know, or this necklace that I absolutely adore because it has dragons on it. And then you just, just by rubbing it. And that's what we do with our jewelry. That's what we like our special scarves and those things that we surround ourselves with. So create the environment around you that supports your quantum state. Statues, plants, pictures, waterfalls, all that wonderful stuff that we learn in feng shui of how we can enhance the energy flow in our houses. And so that's what we proactively do. And Lynn was joking about the fact that we are rock hounds. So some of you saw my Facebook post. This is only the base of the rock that my husband just dug out. Isn't that gorgeous? And he wouldn't allow me to transport the rest, which is this big, because it's too crystally and we don't want to, take any chances with destroying the crystals. So this is what we do at home. I have little altars everywhere. My whole house is an altar, literally. And the kids do it. They have their own little cute altars. And now we're building a labyrinth in the backyard, so I'm super excited about that. So the stone energy, that's if you want to touch it, you get to touch it. And aromatherapy. So this was a beautiful gift I got. And by the way, a big shout out to our doTERRA friends. This is a chakra kit, and I just do chakras, I do it on my arm, and I just breathe in the smell of each chakra, and then I'm setting my intent with it. So you can enhance your state all the time, proactively, okay? Everybody gets that? And I know we all have our methods, we all have our ways of doing it. The only thing is, sometimes we run into problems with that, because no matter how much we're doing all this conscious stuff, our subconscious mind really, really wants to show. And it doesn't matter what we're logically thinking, our emotions are always going to win out. So let's do a tiny little test where we're going to show the picture. There they go. Yeah. Oh, okay, we're not showing you that picture. I'm just going to tell you a story, and I know you're smart enough, you're going to make the picture in your mind, okay? So here's the deal. I was hanging out with my cute little nephew, 2.5 years old, and he's totally crazy about Legos. And we had a big pile of Legos sitting here on the ground, and we're building wonderful little things together. 2.5-year-old, what can they do? So I'm like, oh, let's build a bunch of gardens. So first we built the garden with the red flowers. And it was really amazing to me how as soon as we said, okay, let's build red flowers, all the red pieces of the Legos literally jumped out. They became super 3D, they became more vibrant in their color, and everything else just kind of blended away. And then we made the green garden, and then we made the little waterfalls and blue stones. And as soon as we said, okay, let's look for all the blue stones, literally all the other stones started fading away, and the blue stones stood out. And I see your head nods, you can relate with that, because that is how our filter system works. The way that we sort, there is so much information coming in at us, and I've heard different calculations of what scientists say. It's between 300 and 400 billion pieces of information that we get subjected to every second of our life. Like right now, if I would put you under into hypnosis, you would be able to recount what the people are wearing around you, what the songs that were the last 10 hours that you were listening to. Your mind is an incredible storage for information, which is way too overwhelming. And that's why we have what's called the reticular activating system, your ass, your RAS, which sorts through all that information and then determines what does pertain to you and what is important in this moment in time in your life. And everything else gets deleted from our conscious awareness. And so our RAS is the filter between reality out there and what makes it into our own brain. I had a client in Mexico a few weeks ago and she told me that this relationship is not working, that relationship is not working, and why is that not working, and people always betray you, and she came up with all this relationship stuff. And then she interrupted herself and she's like, well, I have friends who are saying to me, you have so many people who love you, you just can't see it. She said, is it me? I'm like, is it you? So she got it. She's like, oh wow, I have a system that is set up. I'm not good enough, or I don't deserve love, whatever it is in the subconscious, that doesn't see the love that is right in front of her, that is being expressed to her, because her filter system won't let it in. Does it make sense to everybody? Because guys, this is the key information piece of tonight. The idea that we all have that kind of a system. We are all stopping ourselves, we're all sabotaging ourselves from the full expression of what's possible and what's potentially there for us, because we're deleting it out based on our belief system. And what it comes down to, and that's what I learned through NLP and shamanism and other modalities, it's not just the stuff that happens in your own life. Yes, when you were ridiculed by a teacher and he told you you're stupid, that leaves some kind of a mark. And then when we get into some kind of situations where our intelligence is being tested, that old belief comes up, I'm stupid anyway, or I'm too old, or I can't do this, I don't have the finances. So whatever happened in your own life is one level of how we're sabotaging ourselves and how we're limiting our filter system. The second level is our family system. What have we learned from our ancestors? What are the things that our parents and our grandparents lived, that we observed, that we modeled from them? How was their relationship with money, for example? What did we learn about money from our parents and our caretakers? What did we learn about how much pleasure you get to enjoy in your life, or how hard it has to be to work? So think about it right now. What are the beliefs that you adopted from your family system? And then it goes even deeper, because there is our whole ancestral system and our cultural system. So whatever your cultural background is, if you have a lot of Irish, and I remember one client when we went back actually to the 12th century Ireland, when she wanted to heal her family history. She went almost 1,000 years back to heal famine, because there was always this hoarding and, there's not enough for tomorrow. And she traced it back to her Irish inheritance. So think about it. What is your inheritance? What are the cultures that you carry within your DNA? And what needs to be used there? I, as a German, have totally different issues as someone who is Afro-American, or someone who is Jewish, or someone who is American, with whatever backgrounds you people have. Many. It's like, well, at least you're half German. The rest is just, all the other stuff. And so, then the last level is humanity, because there are beliefs that have been passed from generation to generation for thousands of years. Let's just think about the role of women. What is our, status in the world? How many presidents do we have who are women? How many Chinese emperors can you name, or Egyptian pharaohs who are women? There's a lot of belief systems attached to that. Or what is the role of a male, right? We are reformatting our identities on that level. So there are even human beliefs, human conditioning, that can mess up our filter system. So please look at your handouts and determine some of those things that you heard about. Your worthiness, or your worthiness of being a girl, or being a boy, or what your school teachers told you. Write down a couple of ideas where somehow you limited your own perception of reality because of your own programming and your own experiences. And as we're getting ready to reframe some of that, I would like to welcome Megan to the stage because Megan has a very, very interesting way of helping people with money issues. So let's see what she's got and how we can overcome that RAS.
Really RAS. Thank you, Christina. I love playing with money. Does anybody else love playing with money? I had this weird experience one day, and I was really mad because I was like, I just had this download, and it was like, money was supposed to be fun. And I was like, crap! Because I had made it really, really hard. And that was one of my family patterns. That was one of my generational patterns. I recently was at a family reunion, and a nephew of mine, I was asking him what he was doing, and he said he was a mechanic. And I said, I always say this, and people look at me strange, do you love it? And he's like, I don't love it. It's terrible. It's all this stuff. And I said, well, why don't you do something that you love? And he just did not have a reference point for that. Did not. Looked at me like I was nuts. And so that was my family inheritance. And so when I got that money was meant to be fun, and it was meant to be a high vibration, I just went to work to figure out all the tools that I could use to keep money in that high vibration, to keep money in that high energy. And like we were talking about earlier, most people are actually, they say they believe in the law of abundance. However, every time they go to purchase something, every time they see a price tag for a workshop or anything like that, and so what's happening is there's a fear response going out. The state of being around creation, around money, is fear. So the tool that I love to use the most is, and that I believe accesses the quantum field, is questions. I believe that all of our results are related to the questions that we're asking. And questions that we know we're asking, and questions that are asked now we're asking, like where there's all these questions going on. So here's an example of one. The brain is really beautiful. The brain is set up to be successful no matter what. Okay? So when you've got a question going like, oh God, how am I going to pay rent this month? Okay? And you solve that problem, the brain goes, hey, she solved that problem. Let's give it to her again. So we'll go paying the rent, right? So we end up, if you've noticed, there's certain things, certain patterns that stay. And even though we say, first of every year, yeah, I'm going to change that this year, you know? Nay. One of the reasons is because, not to be rude, but you're asking stupid questions. So, one of the things that occurs is that when we live in conclusion, this is good, this is bad, this is right, I'm good, I'm bad, I'm right, I'm wrong, this was a good thing, this was a bad thing. That's where all of our creative energy is going, okay? Question takes us out of conclusion and into creation. Question takes us into a conversation with consciousness. A conversation with quantumness. So here's the thing. Einstein said that he was not smarter than anybody else. He just had the capacity to wonder for longer periods of time. And what I mean by that is when we ask questions, I'm going to talk to you about a good question in a minute. I'm going to give you a couple fun tools. It's not about getting an answer, because that would just be a conclusion and then take you out of the flow again. Think about it. Just feel it. Just for a second. Okay, think about all the things you're judging in your life as good, bad, or bad. Gosh, I'm really happy with my body right now, but money sucks. Right? I'm really happy with my relationship, but this, like, thinking about all the judgments you have about everything that's going on in your life right now. How does that feel? Well, it's a lot of work, right? It takes a lot of energy, okay? So what if instead of doing that, you could simply say something like, what else is possible right now? What else is possible in this area? So your current state of being now changes from conclusion, which kind of sucks, to possibility. What else is possible? What have I not seen in this situation? What choice have I not allowed myself to choose yet out of this situation? So I would invite you to, especially around money, especially around any of these issues that you've just located, is ask a better question. Ask a really good question. I'm going to share my money question with you that I've been playing with for a couple of years now. And this money question actually turned into a process that I call the money game. I teach a course called Play Your Way to Money. It's 90 days to manifest, to double, triple, quadruple your money, and using tools to clear the RAS and all kinds of stuff. But this is my question, and it comes to me every day in a reminder. What will it take for me to playfully generate wealth in a way that is so powerful and purposeful that it pulls up and out the most spectacular parts of me and everyone I come in contact with?
Can you repeat that?
Yeah. I'll say it one more time.
Okay, that.
So that's a better question than how am I going to pay my rent? Am I going to get out of debt? Like, those are dumb questions. Because they insult your intelligence. You're an infinite being in a better problem. Let's really cool problems. Okay, so I'll say it one more time. What will it take for me to playfully generate wealth in a way that is so powerful and purposeful that it pulls up and out the most spectacular parts of me and everyone I come in contact with? So notice how to ask a question like that puts you in a state of being of possibility. I have no idea how to answer this question, but my life is becoming the answer to this question.
And that's the perfect I've been dancing with my money. I've been taking the money on the world trip. That's been a lot of fun with partying together. So that's all there is that you can change your own RAS. And then we have one more person here tonight, and she came all the way from Southern Utah, so a super warm welcome to Darlene Braden. And we also go way, way, way back when, because she was also a coach when I was just a little student to get my feet wet with NLP. And she is actually the best-selling author of the book, What Stops You? So what better knowledge than to ask her how you deal with your RAS?
Good. You're supposed to say, thank you. What stops you? You say, I know. What stops you from being a high vibration? Maybe I should have named the book, Who Stops You? Right? Who stops you? I stop you, right? You stop yourself. So here's the deal. Let's get a little academic about the conscious mind and the unconscious mind to wrap this up. Why can't you ask the right questions? Why can't you do it? Sometimes when you don't. Most of the time you do, but when you can't, what stops you? You stop yourself, and here's the deal. Because you are not just one person. You may look like one person, but you're not. Because you've got a head, consciously logical head, that's different than your heart and your passion. Do you ever argue with your heart, with your head? Then you have a body that's different, feels different. Then you have a gut feeling. Then you have a spirit. Does your spirit ever argue with the logic of your head? Does your heart ever argue with your body? It's called inner conflict. When you resolve that, your vibrations go up. Christiana knows how. I know how to help you. The coaches in front. There's books out there, tape CDs, to help you raise those vibrations and bring your conflict together so you're one piece, which is peace. And there's an even better way that will always work. I'd like you to think now of your higher power. What is higher than you? There's a power higher than all of us. What's your higher power? I can tell you that your higher power knows that you're here. And your higher power loves you. Whether it's a rock or the wind or God. Your higher power loves you and wants you to have great things. And that's really where the vibrations come from. To acknowledge way past yourself, to acknowledge the universe, the higher power that loves you, and for you to know that is where your vibrations come from. What a beautiful group you are. Know that you're beautiful because your higher power does. Thank you.
Go quantum, dude!